the graphic again that Lordal sent us, created for us, the thing, the GIF. Did he send it to us?
That is a very good question.
Oh, it was in press conference, I think.
Yes.
Actually, hang on.
I think we pinned it as well, didn't we?
Did we?
I think so. Pretty sure we did.
Yep, I just got the ping, so that's perfect.
Oh, guys, community meeting being late, that's a penalty.
Well, oh, yeah, all FIA members, penalty. How dare you? I do hope that this music is copyright free. Otherwise, we could end up with a copyright strike here. That could be fun, couldn't it?
Oh, well, it's from YouTube link, so I don't know actually about that.
Yeah, we politely ask no one to report the video.
Yes, please no copyright strikes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I found it. Sweet. Oh, I already saved it, didn't I? Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, I think we're ready to start, guys, but it's a little bit disappointing. There's not many people here, so...
Not a huge number.
I was hoping for more,
yes,
actually. So I'm just...
I'm sure it's fine.
No, just bear with me. I'm just gonna do some quick thing in the background. Wow. Just a sec. Okay. Let's see, text and images, really quickly turn that on. Oh, that looks sexy. Oh my god. Okay, hang on. I'm just gonna share my screen here. Look at this, guys. Look at this. If you haven't seen this yet, I just want to quickly shout out to Lordal here who made this. Like, look at this. Look at this awesome graphic.
Just lovely.
It is so epic. It is so good. Doesn't that make you wanna...
I think we need a round of applause for that.
Yes, round of applause. Woo.
Well, we can't hear them, but yeah.
Yes. we'll assume that you're all applauding right now.
Anyway, let's see. Are we about ready to start?
I think so. I'm fine. Yep. Let's
okay.
Rock.
Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen. In that case, my entire screen. Okay, welcome everyone. So, thanks for joining for the Season 12 community meeting. I'm going to start the PowerPoint presentation. Can you guys see my screen all right?
Can indeed, thank you.
PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm going to make this hopefully not too long because we've got a 50% fundraise after this one. So stick around because we're going to go racing after this. Yeah, this meeting, in this quick meeting, we will give you all the relevant information for next season, Season 12. We are in our 12th season, guys.
Wow, that's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, fun fact, last weekend was my 1 year with the league. I saw old recording from 2018 with
1 year
T1 and
anniversary.
Altoka. Yeah, but no, the league is from last October, or from October a year ago, so it's a year and 3 months old. What are we going to talk about, guys? We're going to talk about Season 12, everything that you need to know about Season 12 that's coming up. We're going to talk about the FIA, we're going to talk about the calendar, we're going to talk about the league format. We're going to talk about something spicy happening in D1. We're going to talk about rulebook. We're going to talk about the driver market. And then after all of that, we're going to have a 50% fundraise. And also, after the fundraise, we are going to open up the Season 12 signups. So it's 100% worth it for you to stay around to listen to this community meeting, ask your questions, and race with us, and then sign up for next season after. So let's kick it off. If you have any questions, please ping or message FIA in press conference, or ping in one of the FIA persons, and we will review all questions at the end of this presentation. So first of all, let's start with the FIA. So we have some new members in the FIA starting this season. We have Switz, who joined the FIA. We've got Mospec, and we've got Lewis. So big welcome to all the new FIA members. And of course, good to see all the old FIA members still there. So for your information, this is the current FIA structure. We've got a stewarding crew, we've got an organization crew, we've got a host crew, and it says here what all of them are responsible for. I'm not going to go over everything. But basically, this is the people that will be hopefully, making your league experience as fun as possible. These are the guys that are going to be volunteering their time, volunteering again, for no pay in return to hopefully, make this a fun time for you. So big thanks to all of the FIA for volunteering, for committing, and we're gonna have some fun. Just want to point out that while we have a stewarding crew that is, heading the penalty stuff, it's all of the FIA's responsibility to attend the penalty review. More on that later, but that means that you cannot look at only those 4 people or only Maverick, who is at the top of that slide, to say, oh, I got a bad penalty. No, it's the entire FIA is together responsible for the penalty review after the league race. We all will be attending, and we all will be reviewing your incidents. So that's something to keep in mind. And something new, we've got a fundraise team for this season, which is at the bottom. And these guys will be responsible for hosting and scheduling some fun races every week for you guys to enjoy, some unranked stuff, some other stuff. So yeah, we've got some exciting things for you also during the week when we're not league racing. So that's about it for this slide. Again, if you have any questions, put them in press conference or DM an FIA member, and we will review after the presentation. So Season 12 calendar, it's already been posted in the calendar channel. Here you can see our lovely calendar. 10 rounds as usual, 5 weeks as usual, 5 weekends. Starting next weekend, next Friday, 1 week from now in Austria, Red Bull Ring, and finishing on the 6th of March in Brazil. By the way, the dates on this are the D2 and D1 dates. So if you're in D3, you are the day before, the 4th of February, the 11th of February. the 18th of February, and so on. For the exact date, please look at the calendar channel. It's going to be a spicy calendar, that's for sure. So thanks to Mosback, by the way, for making this awesome graphic for us. And yeah, it's something to be excited. Spicy tracks lined up for you. Some stuff that you really liked and some stuff that you don't really like. But you can't only have popular tracks, right? You also have to race on the not so popular tracks. That's the life of a racing driver. We can't have a Spa every race weekend, unfortunately. So next, league format. This is something that is not really changing much from last season. So the league format is basically staying the same, meaning D3, 25% races on Friday, short qualifying, with a note that we're going to expect to be running D3A and D3B in parallel again, side by side, like last season, because we expect that there will be more than 20 drivers in every D3 race. So we will make 2 lobbies. Now, D3A is not the better drivers. D3B is not the lesser drivers. As we start the season, it will be just completely random. We will assign drivers random. We will split the group random into D3A and D3B, and every week it will be split random again, maybe until somewhere towards the end of the season, where we will put the top drivers together to decide the championship. But I just want to clarify that if you happen to be driving in D3B, it's because it's random that night and also the next weekend. So don't worry, don't think, oh, I'm in the bottom bracket. No, they're equal, D3A and D3B, for the start and during the season up until the end. And at the end, we will put the faster drivers that are in the top of the championship together to have a fair decision on the championship in D3. That's all. And they will be running side by side like last season again. No changes there. D2 and D1 again will stay the same, 50%. Short qualifying, time will stay the same. The presets in D3 and D2 will stay the same. D1 will be the only division that has full setups. I know a lot of you guys like full setups. And therefore, if you want full setups, you will have to sign up for D1. That's the way it is. We want people to sign up for D1. That's the main league, of course. So if you want full setups, it's very simple. Just sign up for D1. D3 and D2 have presets, and there's a good reason for that. We also saw in the last community vote that around 50% of the community still prefers presets. So we are not throwing away presets anytime soon. So we will continue to have presets for D3 and D2 for the time being, and we're not going to change that. Because we want to cater to the people as well that want presets, and we want to encourage the people that want full setups to sign up for D1. So there you go. Now, spicy stuff coming up. D1 is going to have something extra this season. There's going to be a no assist side table. So what is that? First of all, the D1 championship and the rules will stay exactly as is, meaning you can still drive in D1 and use assists. That is totally allowed. That is totally fine. You will still score points in D1 with assists. You will still get championship points. You will still be able to win the championship with assists. There is no change in D1. We're not changing something in D1. We're adding something extra. That's very important to understand. We're not changing the normal situation in D1. We're just adding an extra side table for no assist users. On this table, we will track the performance and the championship scorings of the no assist drivers. Only verified no assist drivers, by the way, meaning you will have to prove that you are on no assists. And if you are a verified no assist driver, you will be allowed to score points for the no assist side table. Now, that includes only D1 drivers because this will only be in D1. But if you are a D2 reserve driver, that is driving D1 as a reserve driver, and you are also a verified no assist user, you can score points in this side table. So again, only no assist users, D1 only, plus D2 reserve drivers, no assists only. But again, The main D1 championship will stay exactly the same. It's only extra. It's an extra thing in D1. So we can see who is the best no assist driver. That's all. And as a little reward for the no assist drivers, they will also be entered in the Hall of Fame, the top 3, alongside, of course, the normal D1 entries for Drivers' Championship and Constructors' Championship. So something spicy. So if you want to try no assists, by the way, no assists means 0 assists, absolutely nothing. That includes no racing line, nothing, absolutely nothing. If you want to try that, now is the time. Sign up for D1. Show us that you're a no assist driver, and you can race with against other no assist drivers in the no assist side table. Okay. Next is the penalty system in the rulebook. So I want to hand over to Maverick, who is going to tell you more about that.
Super
Maverick, go
duper.
ahead.
Thank you very much, Shorts. All right. Yeah, so the vast majority of the rulebook and penalty system for next season is also much the same. Quite a lot of stability from Season 11 to Season 12. But I will highlight some of the points that will be changing here. So one big thing to watch out for is that starting from this season, and well, going into this season actually, if you got black flags last season, then you will be starting next season with 1 point per black flag. What this hopefully will encourage is that drivers are starting the season off much more carefully. Now, the intention is that every driver should be starting every season as carefully as possible and making every effort to avoid getting penalties. But sometimes we think that some drivers require that little bit extra motivation. So whenever you see the penalty tracker being uploaded, if you are someone that did get black flags last season, or DSQs rather, then that is why you may be starting on higher points than you expect. Another major change for next season as well is that all drivers will have a single license. So previously what we would have done is we would have had any D2 drivers would have had their penalty points separate from any they scored in D1, and the same for D3 to D2. This will not be happening next season. What we'll be doing is that any penalty points you score will be going onto one single license. So what that means is any races you do as reserve could also affect your assigned division. So let's say, for example, you complete the race around what's one of the races this season, Japan, in Division 2, say, and then you go to Division 1 and you get enough penalty points for a disqualification. You would then be disqualified from both Japan races. The intention behind this rule is to encourage drivers that are being reserves to be much more careful. Because the licenses were split previously, there was less incentive for drivers to be careful. So the intention here is to make drivers be more careful in avoiding penalties. In both divisions, really, but especially whenever they are acting as a reserve. Okay, next slide, please, Shorts. So, also, if a driver DNFs from a race, you cannot exceed 3 penalty points. What this means is that you cannot serve a disqualification in a race you had a DNF. If you would have been disqualified, you'll actually still stay on 3 points. It means then that you can't clear your license in a race where you would otherwise have been disqualified from. We saw some incidents last season where someone created a major incident, DNF'd from that race, and then they served absolutely zero penalty from the consequences of their actions. So with the rule here, what that'll mean is that you'll then go to the next race, you'll still be on 3 points, and if you cause another major incident, then you're going to be disqualified from a race where you would have scored points. So once again, all the reason to be more careful. Okay? That is the intention behind the rules here. We don't want to hand out penalty points. We don't want to disqualify people. We want to encourage you to drive more careful. If you drive more careful, if you don't score penalty points, you don't got to worry about any of this, because you won't be getting the disqualifications. So it is up to you. Okay, next slide, please. So updates to Racecraft. This isn't really so much an update, more just a reminder. These kind of incidents are what cause quite a lot of incidents. So every driver must remember that you must leave space for other drivers to the edge of the track. If you end up pushing a driver across the white line, or you make contact with a driver, then you should expect a penalty. And if that driver spins out, it is a direct 10-second penalty. So if the driver you make contact with spins out, you should expect a 10-second penalty. The rules have been like this for a very long time. We're keeping the rules stable here. So if you make contact in a race, you should expect the penalty. Okay, next slide, please. Safety car behavior. So this is an interesting one. We saw several incidents last season where the lead driver did not leave sufficient gap to the safety car and caused some incidents as a result. So as a rule added to the book, the lead driver now must ensure a sufficient gap to the safety car during a restart. If you end up going too quickly and the game forces you to slow down, because you're too close to the safety car, then you will be responsible for any incidents that occur. So during a safety car restart, make sure you stay slow and steady, no accelerating and braking in an errant manner. Errant manner? Is that a good word? Yeah, I can England sometimes. In a weird manner, let's say that. And make sure you leave plenty of a gap to the safety car so this doesn't happen. Okay, again, this is just to encourage nice, safe driving. That's all it is. Next slide, please. Okay, so report thread system. Once again, this is quite stable for next season. The things that we really need to highlight is that penalty review has been moved back to Monday evening. The FIA were suffering with it being on Tuesday, so we've had to move it back to Monday night. That does give you less time to add your reports, but you have until Monday, 6 o'clock GMT. So make sure you're checking against your specific time zone against GMT. Any reports that go after this time will be ignored. Okay, next one, please. So, all drivers can and should report any incidents they see. It is the responsibility of all drivers to report incidents. And we should see it as, all of us contributing to making the league a safer place. If two drivers are doing something silly that they shouldn't be doing, then it doesn't matter who reports it. Then they should be getting a penalty if they deserve a penalty. So don't feel like you can't report if you're not involved in the incident. Do give a little bit of time for the drivers involved to report, if they wish to. But other than that, don't feel like you can't report other people. You can, and it is encouraged. So please feel free to report any incident you see, whether you're involved or not, because it's everyone's responsibility, to make this a fun, safe place. We all want this to be a fun, safe place, don't we? We all want really good, fun, and safe racing. We don't want incidents. And if everyone feels like they're always, being watched by other drivers, then hopefully there will be less incidents to worry about. And once again, if you drive safely, then you don't need to worry about being reported. So yeah, that's all from that. Next one, please. Yep, that's all then from the penalty and rulebook side of things. So I will hand back over to Shorts.
Hey, thanks, Maverick. We're actually almost at the end of the presentation. So, driver market update is actually pretty much staying the same as last season. So D1 next season for season 12 will be a reverse draft of free agents, meaning the top 10 drivers from last season will be team principals, and they will be able to pick their free agent of choice. It's not going to be negotiating. It's just a draft, meaning the free agent has no choice in the matter. It's a choice only of the team principal. And reverse draft, meaning the 10th placed team principal gets to pick first. The highest placed team principal, meaning last season's championship winner, gets to pick last. What this means is that it's going to create some funky teams, and the goal behind it is to make the teams a little bit balanced. We tried it last season. We've got some decent results from it. Not everyone was happy. Some people had a teammate that wasn't talking in Discord. That's of course a very how can you say, it's very uncomfortable if you're stuck with a teammate that doesn't talk too much. The downside of that is that anyone can be stuck with a teammate that doesn't talk or is not too communicating in any format. So someone has to be the teammate of a guy that doesn't talk. We don't enforce people to use their microphones. We only enforce people to be in the Discord channel during the race so they can listen, and they can listen to the instructions of the FIA people. So we decided to stay with the reverse draft system for one more season, which is season 12, and we're going to see how it goes. D2, on the other hand, is also actually staying the same as last season, meaning the classic driver market that we've done for many seasons now. Meaning you guys in D2, if you are a D2 driver, get to ask any D1 team principal for what team you want to drive for. That can be, up to you. And that if the D1 team principal approves, then you will be then in that D2 team of that car. So it's up to you guys. That also, of course, D1 team principals can approach D2 drivers to drive in D2 for them. So it works both ways. It's not forced in D2 like it is in D1. In D1 it's forced. The team principals choose. In D2 it's not forced. It's asked, and both parties have to agree. In D3, again, same as before, open seat choice, meaning no seated drivers. When you join the lobby, you can pick any team you want. Nobody has a right to a certain team in D3. It's open seat choice. Of course, you still should probably work together with the teammate in D3 if you get one, to make sure that you don't pit at the same time. But that's up to you. Reserve drivers, again, like last season, are no longer limited to their team. Meaning if you're a D2 driver and you're reserve driving in D1, you can drive for any team in D1 as a reserve driver. You're no longer limited to the D1 team with the same from the same constructor. And in D3 again, also you can sub for any team in D2. it's open seat choice. So reserve drivers are no longer bound to their team if they reserve drive. On the flip side, again, just like last season, reserve drivers cannot score constructor points in the reserve race, only driver points. So a reserve driver is there to help the driver, the main driver, on the road. He's there to have a good race, of course, but he can't score constructor points. And the reason for that is because we have open seat choice. We encourage reserve drivers to drive up in the higher divisions. We encourage any D3 driver to race in D2 and D2 to race in D1. But like we saw in the penalty system that was updated, you have to drive clean, and then it's fine. You just have to drive clean, and that's all. But at the same time, we're still encouraging you to drive, like always. No changes here, basically. So moving from that, signing up to the next season. We're going to do that. We're going to open that tonight. First, we're going to have a 50% fun race. So we're going to have a fun race after this. And then we're going to open up the signups. Now, just a word about signups opening. The way it's going to work for those of you who weren't with us last season is we're going to announce the sign up in the driver lineup channel, and you will need to react to the preferred division of your choice. So you will need to indicate whether you want to drive in D1, D2, or D3. You can, by the way, you can vote for more than one option. So you are welcome also to say I want to drive in D2 or D1 by reacting to D2 and D1. That's totally fine. The FIA will then make the grids and the driver lineups based on the voting. You are not guaranteed a seat. So if there are too many drivers signing up for D1, we will have to maybe disappoint someone and move them to D2. Same for D2. If there are too many drivers, we might have to disappoint someone and put them in D3. There are no limits, though, to what you can sign up for. Everyone is welcome to sign up for every division that they want, with the only limit being that if you are a completely new driver, meaning you haven't raced with us last season, for anything less than a weekend, then you will always be put in D3, because new drivers always start in D3. But if you are not a new driver, if you raced with us last season in D3 for more than, let's say, half the season, then you are welcome to sign up for D2 or even D1. Again, it's not a guarantee that you will be placed in D1, but you are welcome to sign up for it. So that's just a word on how the signups will work. It's going to open tonight after the 50% fun race. So we're going to do the 50% fun race tonight after this presentation ends. And before we do, I'm going to open up the floor for questions. So I'm wondering, does anyone have any questions? Did we get any questions during the presentation in press conference or DM?
That is actually a very good point. I haven't seen any so far.
If you want to ask your question now, you can also just ping and we will unmute you and you will be allowed to ask your question just by voice. That's also fine.
So either post it into press conference, message it to either myself or Shorts. Oh, yeah, sorry, there's a question from Antoka. So Antoka, if there's severe damage, and basically the wall stopped you from spinning, then yes, it would also be a 10-second penalty. So, spinning another driver out, that is an example of what can get you a 10-second penalty, but also, slapping someone into the wall and causing them red wing damage, is also going to be a 10-second penalty. And that has been the way we have applied that rule for several seasons now. Lobster, if they go for a dive bomb, and as a result they spin themselves out, nope, that would be judged as a racing incident, because they have spun themselves out. If they spin you out, then it would be a penalty. But no, if you are completely blameless from the contact, then you will not get a penalty as a result of it. Yes, if drivers are, Adlek asks, if drivers drive erratically, does the penalty also count? Yes. Anyone seen weaving, which is making more than 2 moves, which is 1 to defend, 1 to move back to the racing line. That'll be a 5-second penalty. If you move during braking, that's a 5-second penalty, etc., etc. So always bear in mind you need to drive safely. Making late moves or making too many moves and that kind of stuff will be penalized. Okay, are there any other questions?
I got a question. What track are we going to race? So, good question. I'm gonna basically do a wheel of names, and I'm gonna restrict it to only the 2 most popular tracks on the calendar vote, which were Austria and Brazil. So I just want to have a fun race where everyone gets to race a track that most people want. So it's gonna just be Austria or Brazil, basically, and we're gonna do a wheel of names between the 2. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Anything at all?
Snacking asks, will there be an announcement for the D1 draft? Yes, there will be an announcement, but most of that is actually done via direct message. Yeah, don't worry, we will keep you all up to date with all of that. All you need to worry about is making sure you vote for which division you want to be in. That is the important thing, and that will be going up after the race tonight. And then after that, the FIA basically does all the work. We do all the legwork for you.
Can we do the fundraise?
I think that's. I don't see anything else here. Nothing else coming in from my DMs. If everyone is happy, let's do some racing.
Okay, so let's bring out the wheel.
Wheel of Doom!
Okay, so here we go, guys. It's Austria or Brazil. Is that simple?
Here we go.
Spin,
Okay, click
Austria.
spin.
Austria.
Spin. Brazil.
Austria.
Brazil.
Hey!
Oh! Austria!
Let's fucking go.
Woo!
Let's fucking go.